Hey guys, what's up? In today's video, I'm going to be attempting to win a game of Fortnite, except I'm in school. Let me explain. So on the day I recorded this, it was the last day of school. And that day, I had planned to make this video while at school, seeing if I can win a game of Fortnite before school ends. Now you're probably wondering how I managed to do this. Well, basically, because this was the last day of school, I knew you weren't going to do much, and I would have some free time to record this video. The only problem is I wouldn't have much time, because today was a half day for our school, which meant that we got out at 12 p.m. instead of the regular time we got out. This meant I only had about an hour to film this video, because the rest of the day was taken up by end of school activities that we usually do at our school, such as prayer, because yes, I go to a Catholic school, some games and activities we did outside, and of course, yearbook signing. So after we completed all that, it was around 10:40 a.m. So I had approximately an hour and 20 minutes to beat this challenge. However, I and some of my other friends were asked to help out, set up chairs and stuff for the graduation ceremony later that day for the seniors. So I had to do that really quick, and then whenever we finished, it was around 11 a.m. So I only had one more hour. However, just as I was about to set up my setup, one of the elementary teachers wanted me and some of my other friends to help clean her room, because every teacher has to do that before school ends. So we had to go do that really quick, and finally at 11:30 a.m. we finished. And the elementary teacher allowed me and my friends to stay in that room so I could record the video. So I finally got my stuff out and set it up, along with my two friends, Decemberkris and TheGuyThatAlreadyExists, or as I like to call him, Jake from State Farm. So at this point, things weren't looking too good. I only had 30 minutes to complete the challenge. However, that's when I realized my mom was actually going to be picking me up later than I thought. She was actually going to be picking me up around 12:30. This meant I had just an hour to complete this challenge. This would prove to be very difficult, and as if things weren't already difficult, I realized I completely forgot to update Fortnite on my laptop. That meant there was nothing I could do. I couldn't even do the challenge at all. I was just sitting there for about 10 minutes thinking of what to do. I've been waiting for this for the entire week and planning it, and it all came to ruin, all because I forgot one small thing. But that's when I realized I have my phone, and on that phone I have Xbox Cloud Gaming. That would allow me to stream Fortnite to my phone, and I could successfully play Fortnite. Luckily, I also brought a PlayStation controller, so it'd be easier to play on my phone. The only problem with Xbox Cloud Gaming is that the streaming is absolutely horrible. There's so much input delay, and it would be very choppy, and the screen would freeze every so often. This made the challenge 10 times harder. But hey, at least I could play Fortnite now. So I quickly set up Xbox Cloud Gaming on my phone and got right to playing. Also, yes, this is a back reveal and a partial arm reveal, as well as a little bit of my leg reveal. But of course, not my face. So now, it was time to start playing. Also, huge thanks to the guy that already exists, or as I like to call him, Jake from State Farm, for using his phone to record the in real life footage. And I'll probably be voicing over most of this video, because I don't really talk all that much in the recording. Anyways, let's get to it. So immediately when I got into Fortnite, I queued into a match, and then once I got in the match, I decided to land at Foxy Floodgates. And immediately as I landed, the gameplay was extraordinarily bad. Like, I can't tell you how much delay was on my controller. It had to be at least like half a second. It was crazy. And at one point, the lag got so bad that it looked like my character was moving without me even touching the controller, because my gameplay had to catch up with real time, which wouldn't actually be all that uncommon throughout this video. But I was able to continue on, and eventually I got kind of used to all the lag, and I couldn't really rely on audio cues because it was always about 5 seconds late. So I had to rely entirely on visuals. But even that wasn't that good. I could barely see what was in front of me, much less 50 meters away. And the small screen didn't really help. So back to the game. I saw a Sith lightsaber icon on the map, so I decided to go to it to get a lightsaber, just for movement, because lightsabers this season aren't actually that great. After I got the lightsaber, I decided to just start trying to run around finding some more loot, while also trying to stay alive. And eventually I came across this restaurant, I believe it is, just trying to find some more loot. And then I see someone firing. So immediately I try to turn back and run away. But as you can see, the lag is just absolutely horrible, so I couldn't even tell where I was going. It was like the gameplay was speeding up and slowing down. It was really bad. And I was trying to go up the stairs, but then I turn around and I see them come right through the door. And somehow, some way, I eliminated them. Of course, they were probably a bot, but an elimination is still an elimination. So yeah. So after all that, I found a storm key card to that storm tower. So I decided to activate it so I could see future storm circles. And I also found a car, which I thought would help me survive better. However, as soon as I got in it, I was shot immediately, and my car immediately got to half health. And it seemed like people had a vendetta against my car, because it was shot even more and I was down to about 290 health. After much lag, I made it to a gas station where I could heal up, and then I immediately dipped. And then get this, as soon as I left, there was someone waiting for me, trying to shoot my car, and immediately it was back down to about 300 health. And remember that guy who shot my car. He'll pop back up later, and he won't be nice at all. So after meeting that guy, I quickly made my way out of there and just started roaming the map for a while, and eventually found this one building in Crime City. So I hid there until top 5, and then I made my way out of there because of storm, and I settled on this construction site place, and then I stayed there until circle fully closed in and the next storm started moving in. And I would have gone out undamaged if this Apple News story notification had popped up and distracted me. So I was on my way out of storm whenever a bunch of lag started hitting, and that worried me very much because I was out in the open and then I saw someone ahead of me and we actually got into combat, and somehow with all my lag and the storm, I eliminated them. However, it was so laggy after that I couldn't really correctly control my movements, and someone started shooting me, and then storm caught up, and though both of those things ended up brutally eliminating me. I mean, there really wasn't much I could do. I guess I could have shot back, but it was pretty tragic. And what made it even worse is that the person who eliminated me was the same guy from earlier with the Poe Dameron skin. If only I had just eliminated him earlier, I wouldn't have to die. But anyways, that was match number 1. So I hopped in another match as Darth Jar Jar, of course, and I landed back at Foxy Floodgate, and I landed on a purple Mandalorian jetpack, so I was pretty glad I found that because I could use it for mobility. And then I continued to just loot up, go around the place, and eventually when I thought I was good, I hopped in a car, and I was just roaming around trying to find some more loot. However, I stumbled upon a stormtrooper base, so I decided to absolutely demolish all of the stormtroopers. However, they also started to demolish my car, so I had to leave, and I quickly made my way to a gas station. Little did I know, this gas station would ultimately lead to my demise, because little did I know, there was a person there. So yeah, I placed 60th. And that's the end of Game number 2.
Dude, this is impossible.
Once I got into the next match, I decided to land at Outlaw Oasis. However, I saw a bunch of other people trying to land there, so I decided to change it up and land at this tennis court place that's just behind Outlaw Oasis. Once I landed, I looted up, got some heals, and then I saw someone. They took out a lot of my shield. I honestly thought that'd be the end of this match, but somehow I got a clean shot off them. So I lived to see another day. I then hopped in a car, but I ended up badly damaging it because I tried to ram it through buildings in Outlaw Oasis, and eventually stumbled upon another person, except this time he had an AI companion. So I got scared out of my absolute boots, even though I wasn't wearing any, and I immediately ran out of there, or in this case, drove out of there. My car got really low, so I had to change it up really quick. But then I encountered another person, but they kind of seemed like a bot, so I just decided to eliminate them with my car. I was trying to make it to a gas station to heal up my car, but I found another car and decided to switch it out. I continued just roaming around the map, but then I found another person who started to attack my car, and they ended up exploding it. So in turn, I ended up exploding them. After that, I continued roaming the map until I found another car, and guess what happened next? I continued roaming around the map. However, you would also never guess what happened next, because my mom actually arrived earlier than I initially expected. And although she arrived and I had to go, she did allow me to finish this match. So I knew I had to survive and get the win. This was quite a bit of pressure, especially because the lag wasn't getting any better. There started to be less and less players in the lobby, so I decided to camp out in a house in Masked Meadow. Then I saw someone coming near me. They just came right out of the blue with a lightsaber, and I tried to fight back, but the lag just became too much, and I died. And that is the end of game number 3. And that would also conclude the challenge, because my mom had already arrived and she was waiting to pick me up.
If I would have gone like I do.
So, yes, I've lost. I just wasn't able to complete the challenge in time, and I had to leave. And you know, I was pretty bummed out. But then I realized this whole experience was actually pretty cool. I mean, I just filmed a YouTube video in school. I'm just saying, I might be the first person in the history of that school to film a video to this scale. Now, of course, I tried to blur out everybody's faces or cover them as well as possible, and any logos that I saw, just so I don't get in trouble. And hopefully I don't get in trouble. And I also found it quite funny that anytime I tried to start the challenge, a teacher would ask us to go do something, which caused me to have less time. So yes, I failed, but I gave my time to teachers who needed it, and that is really what God would want us to do. So in the end, did I really lose?